If you're looking to steer your life in a direction that's most aligned with your happiest and healthiest self, human design might be a great tool to help you do it. Human design is a synthesis of ancient and modern sciences to optimize human understanding of the soul and the soul's purpose. Today, we're joined by intuitive healer and human design reader Nadia Last to learn more about it and how we can put it to good use. This is Advocate Now. Well, Nadia, you're an intuitive, a coach, a healer. Energy healing work can be so transformative and powerful. What initially led you down this path?
I was in corporate marketing for a long time, and I had finally achieved what I thought would always make me happy in the corporate world, at least the first rung on that ladder. And I was looking around and realized this isn't the ladder I want to be climbing. And that took me headfirst into what are my values? What do I live for beyond myself? Do I have any values outside of success and monetary success? And those questions ultimately led me to a system called human design, which really taught me a lot about my gifts. And when I was looking at all of my gifts on paper, it was really clear to me that I was a healer, that I was supposed to be helping people in the emotional realms. And now I'm a mental health practitioner. I actually work as a therapist trainee as well.
And I really want to dive into human design in a little bit. But first, working with an intuitive can truly shift your life. I know that firsthand. I've done a lot of energy work. Can you explain what being an intuitive is and what you're able to provide that a traditional therapist might not be able to?
Oh, I love this question. And I'm so happy you've had that experience yourself. That's what I always encourage people. There's nothing to believe in. Can you open yourself up to experiencing something outside of yourself? I think the most important thing I want people to know is that we are all intuitive. It's not just for special people. It's kind of like any muscle. If you train it in the gym, you're going to get stronger. So it's the type of thing that happens when you're thinking of someone and all of a sudden they start calling you. And intuition is happening all the time. I love traditional talk therapy. It will always be my love. But I liken intuitive work to seeing a holistic practitioner, kind of like a naturopath. If you go to a traditional doctor and you're not getting the answers that you really need for your deeper healing, that's when people open themselves up to functional medicine or naturopaths. And that's what I liken my work to, intuitive work. It's, can you broaden the perspective on your life to a more spiritual perspective? You are a soul. What are your karmic lessons that you're here to learn? And why do things feel so difficult? Specific relationships that you have in your life. We're often very much stuck in different karmic patterns and generational loops. So I find that intuitive work can really peel back the layers on what's really happening in our lives.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, a lot of the work that you do is through human design, which is such an incredible tool as well. For those who haven't heard of it, can you explain what human design is?
Yeah, human design is a system that really helps us understand our energetic body. We are right now talking, you and I, Sonia, but our energies are also mingling. And human design gives us the language to understand how does our unique energetic makeup work. It's despite its esoteric origins, it's very practical. How do you make decisions? How are you best in relationship? What is the work that you'd be best suited to? Not in specifics, but more so in relationship to your gifts. I'm sure if we looked at your chart, we'd see why you're such a good interviewer. So human design is actually it's a synthesis of 4 ancient esoteric wisdom systems, Western astrology, which most people are familiar with, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, and then finally the Jewish Kabbalah tree of life.
And I feel like it can help you understand yourself on such a deep level. And when you understand yourself and why you operate in a certain way, I think that helps in all facets of your life. But how would you say human design can be used in a way that aligns someone with their highest self and their true life purpose?
I find that it's the perfect complement to therapy. Therapy is often excavating our previous experiences so that we can understand what they meant and gain power and empowerment from them. But then once you've excavated your experiences, a lot of people are asking, where do I go from here? Now that I've quote unquote healed these different woundings, what's my next path? Human design, I feel like, is a very incredible tool for understanding what are you best at? And once you see all of your gifts laid out in such clear fashion, often people remember, oh yeah, I had that dream when I was 5 years old. And I completely put it away on a shelf and I never revisited that again. And that was my experience. I remember when I was 6, I really wanted to be a therapist. And so I revisited that dream after finding human design.
And as you mentioned, human design is based on 4 different ancient esoteric wisdom systems. Can you talk about those different systems and how they're fused together? I believe I'm a manifesting generator in human design.
And that makes so much sense. You are a multifaceted doer and creator. It's why you can switch gears so quickly into each of these interviews. You're so in your power as a manifesting generator. I can feel that. So there are 5 energy types, and that's usually people's foray into this system. There's manifesting generators, projectors, which I am, manifestors, and reflectors.
And once we find out what we are, I mean, how can we utilize that in certain ways?
It helps us be more easeful in terms of how our energy is designed to work. So while you are this multifaceted, multi-creative doer, I'm a projector, meaning that I'm meant to see deeply into other people. And learning that, knowing that I'm here to really guide and see, it makes my work as a therapist and an intuitive make so much more sense, because it's really easy for me to sit with people and guide them each day. So learning about your energy, it helps you understand how you can interact with people in a much more easeful and less forceful way.
And once we identify, what we are or what category we fall into, is it really just a matter of putting that knowledge into practice?
Yeah, I always tell people human design is an experiment. It's here for you to try living according to what this system tells you one day, and then trying doing the exact opposite the next day, and just feeling how you feel different. I grew up in a very religious household, and so I have a bit of an allergic reaction to any system that wants to tell me what to do. I say this is for you to reconnect with yourself and your own inner wisdom, so that you can actually figure out how you can be more in your power each day, rather than giving your power away to others.
What types of transformations would you say that you've noticed in your clients' lives, or even in your own life, through doing this type of work?
The experience that I'll use the word addicted to, that I'm so excited about, and why I continue to use human design despite being a mental health practitioner and doing all the other work that I do, is seeing people's eyes light up when they hear about how unique and gifted they really are. We spend most of our lives comparing ourselves to other people, saying, why can't I do that? Or why am I not this person? When people recognize there's actually a very unique, specific, and on purpose set of gifts that you have, people can finally take the cards that they've been dealt and play them to the best of their ability. So I find these people who have given their power away for so long, and they felt, deficient in some way, or like they were missing something, really coming away from these human design readings, realizing I'm not deficient in any way. I actually have exactly what I need to live a life that feels most fulfilling. And I know that feels a little bit esoteric saying it, but when you hear it, when you actually experience it, it's pretty life-changing.
I love that you mentioned the word, or you use the word esoteric, because I believe that, once we can learn about our energy, own our energy, learn how to use it as a tool, life can become so magical. And I do feel like it is one of, if not the most powerful tool that we have. Yet there's still the stigma attached, and people want to label it as woo-woo, or, esoteric, or out there. How do you think we break that stigma and really, educate people on what they're missing out on?
Yeah, it's so interesting, because I think we're right at this turning point right now, where most of us, when we think about psychic, we see a neon sign on a street and somebody wanting to charge you $500 to tell you whether or not you'll find true love. And there are many, many years in which it wasn't actually safe to be an intuitive on this planet. And so we're really coming back into what is intuitive work, energy work, spiritual healing, and integrity. And I always ask people to really use discernment. If you're working with a practitioner, is that person telling you what to do? Or are they reconnecting you with your own inner knowing? Spirituality to me is very simple. It's that we all have an inner compass within us. We all have the answers within us. It's whether or not we can get still and quiet enough to listen to our inner voice.
Nadia, thank you so much for talking with us today. I so appreciate it.
Thanks, Sonia.
I'm Sonia Baghdadi. Thanks for watching and advocating. For more stories and content like this, visit advocate.com and advocatechannel.com.